Hello, welcome back to Farming Simulator 17, Giants Editor. Now, if you saw the last video, well done. If you didn't, I suggest you go and watch it. This is a series of videos. It's me transferring a map from Farming Simulator 15 to Farming Simulator 17. This map is called Hazajigazdag, a Hungarian map. I don't believe it's being moved over to FS17, but I thought it would make a nice example for us to work with anyway. This is going to be for my personal use. I'm going to play it just as I did in FS15 alone. I'm going to have some fun doing it, but I'm not uploading it anywhere. If you plan to transfer, or if you want to transfer a map from FS15 to FS17, and if you want to upload it somewhere, you must ask permission of the author. Okay, leave it at that for now. Right, so I have loaded the map obviously into Giants Editor. Now, since the last video, I have solved one error, which was part of the which came over with all those imports. There were more errors, but it seems that by saving it and opening it again, they went away. So I'm happy. Now, the one that was left, I just did a high. It showed. The errors will always show up in the console. I didn't say that, did I? So I just highlighted whatever the error was. I did Control C to copy it, and I pasted it into Google and did a search. I then found out what was causing the trouble, decided I could cope without it. I didn't really want it there, and I deleted it. Exactly what the error was and so on, it is not really very important. What is important is the fact that I took time to look for the cause of the error and get it to this point again where it is not, there are no errors at all. The reason that is so important, if you move a whole ton of stuff across and then you get an error and you want to find it, it's going to be more difficult if you have already imported tons of stuff into your map. So look for errors as you go. Do a bit, drive around, make sure everything looks nice, and then fix your errors. Just search for them in Google. If you can't find the answer, you can go to a forum and ask. FSUK is a good one. Mod Hoster, you go where you like, it doesn't matter. Giants, in fact, Giants Software actually have a pretty good forum now. So you could go there and ask for a bit of help. So I got this error message, what do I do? But don't just leave the error message sitting there, because you'll have all kinds of problems, perhaps, later in the game. Now, we're looking at the village here, as you can see, of the map. And I've got the buildings in. Now, they are in, as you can see, in the left, in the scenograph, they are in a group called Village Temp. Okay, because I'm going to be doing a whole lot of changes to the village. Mostly actually, because of the textures, I just don't like them. Or maybe I just think they're low res, some of them. Some are just disgusting, and so I want to replace them. That's it. Simple as that. There's different ways of doing this. Now, the easiest way, the simplest way, is to go to a website and download a building that you like the look of. Delete this one, or do a replace. And just leave it at that. So that is the easiest way. That is what I'm going to show you first. I have downloaded a few buildings. One of them is a church, and I liked it. I thought it looks nicer than this one. I don't know if it does, but it's my opinion. In the picture, I've kept notes of everything I've done, so it's this one. Oh, let me show it to you on the web page. I just went to Mod Hoster and started browsing around stuff, and happened to come across this. It's maps and buildings mods, But just look around for objects and in the different categories so you can see what it looks like. I thought, well, I like that. I'll try it. If I don't like it, I can remove it again. Right. So, how to get that church into the game? Right. Well, before I start moving anything in, you can see everything here is kind of organised. There's the roads. It's in one group. Yeah. You've got, what else have I got? Roads. I've got a marker tree. That is, I must delete that. That folder is, now that's the dirt tracks or lanes. I'm going to change the name of that. It's just on the right hand side. It's in name. And I'm just going to rename it. You can do this at any time. I'm going to call it dirt tracks. Get spelling right. There. Because I'm English and I understand it now. Right. The village. Now this is all temporary. Okay, because these buildings will either be replaced or I'll be doing other stuff, and so I have to keep this separate. So that's why I've got this temp group. Right. I am going to now create a transform group. When you create a transform group, you'll learn what that is in a moment. It's called transform. All right, and you can see on the right, name transform. So I'm just going to type in their village and press enter. This is where I'm going to put the new village, or everything in the new village. So there's temporary village, the old one, there's a new one. I'm going to now create another transform group, which I am going to call church. Church. There it is. Now, you can see at the moment they're separated. I want church to come within village, the same way that these do. So I'm going to highlight church. I'm going to cut and paste. So I'll do it with the menus, but you could do Control X, Control V, Control C. They all work in here, even though they're not in here. But I'm just going to edit and cut. It kind of disappears, and then I'll edit and paste into there. Now you can see I've got the village, and when I click on the little plus, there. So it's like a folder structure. That has established the folder structure for my church. Now I want to put it over here somewhere. Right, now, that is exactly, if in the last video we did like file, import in the village, the roads. I think we actually did the dirt tracks down here. Anyway, whatever it was we did. Hang on, keep it a bit tidy for you. So how to bring that in? Right, I've actually already moved the files across, but I will where's it gone? Oh, here we go, 17. So maps, here we go, and it was objects. Okay, now here's the temporary thing. This is where this is everything here, village temp. Everything from village temp is in there. Alright, but now where I've moved forward, I'm going to make the actual village. It's my village. So I've made a folder in there, a village, and I've called it the same thing. I've called it church. Now I'll be able to find things easily. Now the file I downloaded is this one, Dorfkirch.zip. If I extract that, like that, I get 3 files. That's the 3 files you see there. So all I've done is I've copied that, I've extracted it, and then I've copied it across here. I've written it in my language. I'm English, so I've written it in English. It was in German before. So I've moved the files across like that. Now I need to get them into the game. For that, I'll file, import, just what we did before. And here it's already there, look. It's gone. So we're in the mod, objects, village, church, and there it is, the i3D file. When I open it, you can't see anything. What's happened on the left, got 1, 2, 3, 4 different items. And if I have a look at those, I'll show you how to do this fast, sort of jumping around in a moment. So there's the church. We've got a gate that's highlighted at the moment. We've got a wall and a gate post. Right, but I want to get those in the right place, obviously. So I'm going to go, just click on Village Temp. I'm going to press the letter F for Focus or Freddy or whatever. When I press F, it changes the focus to whatever I've got selected. So now I'm going to click on the church over there. Look, I'll press F again. There we go. That's just the letter F. Unfortunately, look, it's opened all this lot of rubbish up. Okay, there we are. Right, so these 4, I want to put them into the church folder. That's one thing. So I'm going to highlight them all. I just shift and click the bottom one. It's all simple stuff, right? I'm going to cut. I did Control X then, and I'm going to put it. Click on church, paste. Now everything is now. If I click on the word church and press F, you can see that everything is actually grouped together very nicely. Unfortunately, still in the wrong place. So back here, F. I want to put it over here somewhere, like that. There we go. And oh dear. I'm going to do that. Okay, so here's my little group. Here's my church. Look, this one. There's a thing called interactive placement. There it is in the edit menu. It's also Control B. I'll use the mouse for now. Interactive placement. Just click. Now don't touch, don't do anything. Point your mouse at where you want this thing to be and left click. There. If you want, you can rotate it, you can move it up and down, you do what you like now. But and you can see I've got all of them there, the whole group. And if what happens when I click, I did Control B there by the way. Click, that is, see where that little the center is. There's sort of yellow. Hang on. It's this little yellow thing in the middle there. Look. When I Control B, that thing will be at ground level. So watch, Control B, I click, and it's sort of like buried. Control B, click, and you can see how that's working. So if you've sort of got a lot of floating stuff that's in a group, you can use that as make use of that. So there you go. So Control B and click there. So I've got that in there. Now that's one way of doing it, is to just replace the building. So I have replaced the church with another church. It's in the wrong place, but I want to go and look at it in the game in a minute. So I'll just put it next to the other one and I'll choose the right one in a minute. Now, let's say I want to change the texture of one of these buildings. I like the building, I just don't like the texture, for example. Let me show you what these textures look like in the actual mod, within the mod. So here we are. If I go into objects, I'm going to go into temp, main farm. Now, this is where I run into problems personally, because I've got like this. I mean, I don't know how you're supposed to find stuff in here. Well, you're not really, are you? This is just like the guy who made the thing. For him, this is just perfect. But for me, I can't find anything. So, but despite that, if I'm willing to spend the time, I can go through. Let's try in here, stationery, no, objects, and I can find no, that's no good. Sorry about this. Main farm, models, textures, that one. Yeah, here we are. It's in buildings. Look. So I can open up, I don't know, this one. And like that. It's a DDS file. Now you're going to need GIMP or Photoshop, I think, are the ones that can open these DDS files. But I think you still might need to download something extra. Now I'm not loading bitmaps. You will see why in a moment. So here we are. So I've got, this is the texture. Let's say I don't like, I don't know, the roof or the wall, whatever. Let's see. What I need to do is just replace that bit. Now, I will share these links with you. I've got there's two websites I like to use. One is called SW Texture, Free Architectural Textures, and this one is just called Free Textures. It's texturelib.com. I'll give you both of these website addresses. Now, obviously, you got stuff like camels, but if you want, I mean, this is really nice, like buildings. Oh, what about the door? Not a lot to choose from. Buildings, not a lot to choose from. So, I mean, it's not the best, I suppose. Oh, let's do the roof. There we go. Look at all these roofs. So you just need to find the right texture. I will tell you, there's one thing. I mean, you've got this thatched roof. The nice thing about SW texture, these textures, the left-hand side and the right-hand side are designed that they perfectly match up. So they'll wrap around your object without any weird lines cutting the texture in half. I don't know how better to describe that. So, bit of a shame, but it does mean these you can use, but they're not very good at wrapping around buildings, repeating textures. But anyway, find one you like. I mean, look, dry grass roof, that'd probably be okay to use one of these. I don't know which one. But you just right click, save it. And then go over to your editor. And you can open the other file as well. And just like cut out a rectangle. The shape of this roof. And paste it over the top. It's as simple, easy as that. And when you've done that, just save the file and you're ready to go. But there's one last thing. I'm not no wonderful details here. I'm sorry, but this isn't a tutorial on anything, let alone this file. Okay, when you file when you're ready to save these things, okay, you need to file. Because I opened it with one level of bitmap. Oh shit, okay, right, look, just do this. Just me. File, export as. You need to leave it with the same name. Because remember, you're editing something. You're not, that's all. So you're not, you're going to change what exists already. And you have to keep the same name. By the way, the name is the same as the mesh of the thing. And it's all a bit complicated, but yeah. Okay, I'm going to put mine on a desktop because I'm just pretending to edit mine. Okay, and when I export, is the DDS file. Why did that just happen? Alright, try that. Export, there we go. You'll get this within GIMP anyway. You have to choose compression and bitmaps. Now, compression, I'm going to choose DXT5. I don't actually understand the difference very much, but I'm pretty sure I saw the red somewhere. That's a nice one. So that's why I'm going for it. Bitmaps, yes, you now need bitmaps, okay? Having edited it. So you just do that, click on OK. You've done it. Now I'm going to show you. I've closed it because I want to open it again from here. This is where I saved it. And I'm going to load the bitmaps. I'm going to tick those two boxes this time. Now, bitmaps, if you don't know what they are, if you know what LOD is, it would help. If you're close, the game will use this highest resolution layer to in the game. So when you're close, you need to see all the detail. If you're 100 meters away, maybe you don't need to see quite as much detail, but you will see quite a bit. So instead of using bitmap or main surface, it will use bitmap 1 if you're a certain distance away. And what bitmap 1 is the same thing, just a bit smaller. Now because it will only load that layer. It will not load all 10 layers, as you can see. 11 layers really. It won't load all of them. It just loads the one it needs at the time. So therefore it's more frame rate friendly, call it that. Okay, so if you don't have your bitmaps, you could have performance problems on more complex maps. It's very important to have these. other things it does, it will help with some textures. You see them on and they kind of flicker. And often that is because there are no bitmaps and the game wants bitmaps. I'm not an expert on this. I've done it and I know it works. I've done it more in Microsoft Flight Simulator years ago than in Farming Simulator. And I've only done it in Farming Simulator 15, not Farming Simulator 17, because it's not the sort of thing you need to do very often. But I just thought I would show you this much about how to do it. If you want to know more, you're going to have to learn how to use GIMP and so on. But DDS is the way to go, and loads of bitmaps. Right. Good, that's that. So we have edited it. We'll pretend we've edited this texture as well, because we haven't. And we've imported and placed the church. That's all really. There's not much else left to do other than to go into the game and have a look. So I'll see you there. Great, well we're in the map, we're at the village. And I can run to this end of the village and there should be the church that I brought in. And there it is. So I can now just run a bit closer and I can sort of see, well, which do I prefer? I think I like the new one better, really. Personally. So these are the other bits that came over. We've got gate, bricks, stones. It's a shame that the texture's not, it's okay on this one. I think it's a bit low on the gate, but I think it is also better than this, which is very kind of flat, almost like paint, isn't it? Don't like it. Not compared to this one. So I'll keep that, I'll use that one. And the other thing I did, and I think you saw me do that, I hope you did. I didn't do it because I've recorded this several times. I can't find it now, but there was a thing which I had to delete because it was causing errors with shaders, and I'm just showing you that it is in fact gone. I think it was, here it is, it was here. That wonderful machine making lots of noise, but it wouldn't have worked in FS17 anyway, and it's going to happen that I have to remove tons of stuff. See, that texture's not too bad. This one I just don't like. That'll have to go. What you have to remember though with these textures, this is just a box. Okay, the door is a thing, but it's just a box covered with a texture. If you want to change what that texture is, of course you can. I'll probably have to leave the windows in, but replace the rest. I don't know. So I'll show you when as I do these things. That's awful. Look at this house. The texture there, and it duplicates, look, left to right, so it looks like an old man's beard there. Anyway, I'm off. Thanks so much for having a look at the video. I hope it helps you. It'd be nice if you could say hello down below and let me know what you're doing. Are you doing any modding, or have you come across any? Share your experiences with us, basically, because then we can all learn together and have some fun doing it. I think I might better have to adjust the position of this a bit. It's a bit kind of weird floating in there, isn't it? Oh, what's that? Oh, is there something other? Look, it's like a... Oh, it's a step. Lovely. Can't get in. Alright, I think that's all for now. Bye-bye, and see you.